There are 37 miracles of Jesus recorded in the Gospels. Most people have heard 10 of them, maybe 15 if they grew up in church. Almost nobody has seen all 37 laid out in the order they actually happened. And here is why that matters. When you do, when you lay every miracle end to end from first to last, a pattern emerges that is not an accident, not a coincidence, not something you can unsee once you see it. Jesus was not performing miracles. He was reclaiming territory. Every domain that sin and death had touched, matter, distance, the human body, the human mind, nature, death itself, he walked through each one in sequence and said, "Not here, not anymore." That is the thesis. That is the engine under every miracle. And the place this engine begins is at a party where the wine has run out. And the place it ends, the very last healing Jesus performed before the cross, is going to stop you cold when we get there. But first, 3 Greek words, because the New Testament writers did not use one word for miracles, they used 3. And if you do not know the difference, you will miss what is actually happening. Dunamis, raw power, inherent force that cannot be stopped. It is where we get the English word dynamite. When Matthew or Mark describe a healing, this is the word underneath. Power being unleashed. Semeion, sign. Not a sign that draws attention to itself, a sign that points past itself. John uses this word exclusively, and he tells you why in chapter 20. These are written that you may believe. Not that you will be impressed. That you will believe. Terrace, wonder. The effect on the witnesses, something so outside the category of normal that no one can look away. Acts 2:22 uses all 3 in one sentence. Power, wonder, and meaning. Every miracle, all 3 at once. Hold that framework. We will need it. Miracle 1. A wedding. Around AD 28, probably early in Jesus' public ministry. The wine has run out. In first-century Jewish culture, running out of wine at a wedding was not an inconvenience. It was a social catastrophe, a shame that would follow this family for years. Mary comes to Jesus. He tells her his time has not yet come. Then he acts anyway. 6 stone water jars, each holding 20 to 30 gallons, used for ritual purification, washing the outside. He fills them, turns them to wine, not ordinary wine. The master of the banquet pulls the groom aside and says, "You have saved the best for last." John calls this the first of his signs. Notice what it does. It takes water that could only clean the outside and makes it wine that represents joy. The ceremonial becomes celebratory. The ritual becomes relational. And notice this. The jars are 6, not 7. In Hebrew numerology, 7 is completion. 6 jars means something is still missing. Something is still coming. Miracle 2. A royal official travels from Capernaum to Cana, roughly 20 miles, to beg Jesus to heal his dying son. Jesus does not go with him. He says, "Go, your son will live." The man believed. He turned around and walked home. The next day his servants met him on the road. The fever broke at the exact hour Jesus spoke. John calls this the second sign. 2 things to notice. Jesus healed at a distance. He did not need to be physically present, and the miracle happened the moment Jesus spoke. Not when the father arrived home. Not when someone prayed over the boy. The word was enough. Miracle 3. Synagogue, Sabbath, Capernaum. A man with an unclean spirit cries out, "What do you want with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God." Jesus rebukes the spirit. It shakes the man violently and comes out. The crowd is astonished. He commands with authority, and they obey. Notice who recognizes Jesus first in these early miracles. Not the disciples, not the religious leaders, the demons. They know exactly who he is. Miracle 4. Immediately after the synagogue, Jesus goes to Simon's house. His mother-in-law is in bed with a fever. Jesus takes her hand. The fever leaves. She gets up and begins to serve them. No crowd, no announcement, no sermon first. He just reached out his hand in a private home and healed a woman the crowd would never have noticed. That is the thread you need to hold from the very beginning. Jesus always sees the person before he performs the miracle. At sundown, when the Sabbath ends, the entire city of Capernaum gathers at the door. This is miracles 5 and 6 compressed into one extraordinary evening. He healed many who had various diseases, cast out many demons, refused to let the demons speak because they knew who he was. This is not one miracle. It is dozens, compressed into a single evening. Luke says he laid hands on each one, not a mass prayer from a distance. Each individual person, one at a time. He did not see a crowd that night. He saw individuals, one after another, until the last one was seen. Miracle 7. A leper approaches, falls on his knees. If you are willing, you can make me clean. If you are willing. He is not asking whether Jesus is capable. He is asking whether Jesus would bother. Lepers were untouchable, legally, socially, ritually. They lived outside the city, called out unclean, unclean when anyone approached. Nobody touched them. Jesus was filled with compassion. The Greek word is splagchnizomai, from the word for intestines, a gut-level, physical response of pity. He reached out his hand, touched him. He could have healed with a word, as he did in Cana. He chose to touch. I am willing. Be clean. The leper asked the wrong question. He asked, will you? Jesus answered the question underneath the question. You are not untouchable to me. Miracle 8. The house in Capernaum is so packed that 4 men carrying their paralyzed friend cannot get through the door. So they climb to the roof, remove the tiles, lower the man down on his mat through the ceiling while Jesus is teaching. Jesus looks at the man and says, Son, your sins are forgiven. Not be healed. Forgiven. The scribes in the room think this immediately. Who can forgive sins but God alone? Jesus hears their silent objection and responds. Which is easier, to say, your sins are forgiven, or to say, get up and walk? Then, so that you may know the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins, get up, take your mat, go home. The man stands up, picks up his mat, and walks out while everyone watches. The miracle is not the healing. The healing is the proof of the claim. Miracle 9. Synagogue again. A man with a shriveled hand. The Pharisees are watching, not to be amazed, but to find a charge against him. Healing on the Sabbath was a violation in their interpretation of the law. Jesus is angry. The text says he looked at them with anger and was grieved at their hardness of heart. Then he told the man to stretch out his hand. The hand was restored, and the Pharisees immediately left and began plotting to destroy him. This miracle costs something, not just power. The religious establishment has made its decision. The opposition arc begins here in earnest. Miracle 10. A Roman centurion sends word to Jesus. His servant is paralyzed and suffering. Jesus offers to come. The centurion responds, Lord, I do not deserve to have you come under my roof, but just say the word and my servant will be healed. I am a man of authority. I tell one person, go, and he goes. Another, come, and he comes. He understood chain of command. He recognized Jesus as operating under a higher authority. Jesus marvels. The text says he was amazed. It is one of only 2 times in the Gospels Jesus is described as amazed, and both times it is over faith, not miracles. He said, I have not found this kind of faith in all Israel, and healed the servant from a distance, with a word, without going to the house. So let us take a breath and look at where we have been. 10 miracles. And already the pattern is visible. He heals at a distance and in person. He heals on the Sabbath when the law said not to. He touches the untouchable. He forgives before he heals. He is amazed by a Roman soldier's faith more than anything he has seen in Israel. He is not building a resume. He is demolishing the assumptions about who God is willing to reach and how far he will go to do it. The next 10 miracles will do something the first 10 never fully did. They will go outside Israel's borders, and the miracles will start to feel different. Miracle 11. A funeral procession is leaving the town of Nain. A widow's only son is dead on the bier. Jesus stops the procession, touches the coffin. Another ritual violation, touching a corpse. The pallbearers stop. He says, Young man, I say to you, get up. The dead man sits up and begins to talk. Luke writes that fear seized everyone, and they glorified God, saying, A great prophet has appeared among us. God has come to his people. The crowd reaches for the highest category they know, a prophet like Elijah, who also raised a widow's son. Jesus does not correct them yet, but he is more than that. Miracle 12. Evening. Jesus asleep in the stern of a boat. Violent storm. Waves breaking over the sides. The disciples wake him. "Teacher, don't you care if we drown?" He stands up, rebukes the wind, says to the waves, "Quiet, be still." The wind dies. The water is completely calm. He asks, "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" And they asked each other, "Who is this? Even the wind and the waves obey him." That question, "Who is this?" is the question all 37 miracles are designed to answer. And the answer keeps getting bigger. Miracle 13. Across the sea. Gentile territory. A man living among the tombs, possessed by a legion of demons, a Roman military term. 6,000 soldiers. He had broken every chain they tried to bind him with, cut himself with stones. No one could subdue him. Jesus asked his name. "My name is Legion, for we are many." They begged not to be sent out of the area. Jesus permitted them to enter a herd of pigs. 2,000 pigs ran into the sea and drowned. The townspeople came out, found the man clothed in his right mind, sitting at the feet of Jesus. They were afraid. They asked Jesus to leave. He did, and the man begged to go with him. Jesus said, "No, stay. Go home to your own people. Tell them what the Lord has done for you." The man did. He proclaimed it throughout the Decapolis, the 10 Gentile cities. The first missionary Jesus sent out was a Gentile, with a legion's worth of demons just cast out, preaching in pagan cities. He did not send a disciple. He sent the man no one wanted. Miracles 14 and 15. 2 miracles woven together. Mark does this on purpose. Jairus, a synagogue leader, falls at Jesus' feet. His 12-year-old daughter is dying. On the way, a woman who has been hemorrhaging for 12 years pushes through the crowd and touches his cloak. 12 years. She has spent everything she had on doctors. Nothing worked. She was ritually unclean by Jewish law, meaning she made everyone she touched unclean too. She touches Jesus from behind. Power goes out from him. He stops. "Who touched me?" The disciples are baffled. The crowd is pressing in on all sides. She comes forward, trembling. He says, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace." While he was still speaking, people came from Jairus' house. "Your daughter is dead. Don't bother the teacher anymore." Jesus ignores what they said. Tells Jairus, "Don't be afraid. Just believe." He goes to the house, puts everyone out except the parents and 3 disciples. Takes the girl's hand, says, "Talitha cum," Aramaic for, "Little girl, get up." She stands up and walks around. He tells them to give her something to eat. 2 healings inside each other. A woman with 12 years of suffering, a girl 12 years old. The same number. The daughter of a ruler and a woman who touched no one for over a decade. Mark ties them together because the lesson is identical. Jesus stops for both. Neither one more important than the other. Miracle 16. 2 blind men follow Jesus, calling out, "Son of David, have mercy on us." A messianic title. They are identifying him as the promised king. He asks, "Do you believe I can do this?" "Yes, Lord." He touches their eyes. "According to your faith, let it be done to you." Sight restored. Miracle 17. A mute demoniac. The demon is driven out. The man speaks. The crowds marvel. Nothing like this has ever been seen in Israel. The Pharisees say, "It is by the prince of demons that he drives out demons." Same miracle. 2 responses. 1 crowd, 1 religious establishment. The opposition is hardening. Miracle 18. Jerusalem. A pool called Bethesda. In Aramaic, House of Mercy. 5 covered colonnades filled with the blind, the lame, the paralyzed. One man has been there for 38 years. Jesus finds him, asks, "Do you want to get well?" The man's answer is telling. He doesn't say yes. He says, "I have no one to help me into the pool. When I try, someone else steps in ahead of me." He doesn't know who Jesus is. He doesn't ask to be healed. He doesn't have faith on display. He is just exhausted. Jesus says, "Get up, pick up your mat, walk." The man picks up his mat and walks. Later, the man doesn't even know who healed him until Jesus finds him in the temple. Bethesda means house of mercy. The pool hadn't healed him in 38 years. Jesus did it in 38 seconds. That is the difference between a system and a person. Miracle 19. The only miracle recorded in all 4 Gospels besides the resurrection. 5,000 men, probably 15,000 people including women and children, in a remote place, no food, late in the day. 5 loaves, 2 fish. Jesus takes them, gives thanks, breaks them, distributes them. 12 baskets of fragments left over. 12, the number of the tribes of Israel. Nothing is wasted. Everyone is fed. Miracle 20, night. The disciples in the boat, straining against the wind. Jesus comes toward them, walking on the water. They think he is a ghost. He says, "Take courage, it is I. Do not be afraid." Peter gets out, walks on water, looks at the waves, sinks. Jesus catches him. They get in the boat. Wind dies. The disciples worship him and say for the first time in Matthew, "Truly, you are the Son of God." Miracle 21. Gentile territory. Tyre and Sidon, a Greek woman. Her daughter is demon-possessed. Jesus says the mission is first to Israel. She argues back, "Even the little dogs eat the children's crumbs," and wins. He heals her daughter from a distance. The crumb she asked for was enough. What does that tell you about the size of what was available? Miracles 22 and 23. Deaf man healed in Gentile territory. Then 4,000 people fed. 7 baskets left over. 12 baskets for the Jews. 7 baskets for the Gentiles. The numbers are not accidents. Completeness for everyone. If this is opening connections you haven't seen before, share it with someone who loves digging into the Bible. Subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Miracle 24. Bethsaida. A blind man brought to Jesus. Jesus takes him outside the village, spits on his eyes, puts his hands on him, asks, "Do you see anything?" The man looks up. "I see people. They look like trees walking around." Jesus puts his hands on the man's eyes again. The man's sight is restored. He sees everything clearly. This is the only miracle in the Gospels that happens in 2 stages. Mark places it immediately before Peter's confession. "Who do people say I am? But who do you say I am?" Peter says, "You are the Messiah." But then he immediately misunderstands what that means. He sees, but not clearly yet, like the man who first saw people as trees. The 2-stage healing is a diagram of the disciples' own understanding. Miracle 25. The disciples fail to cast a demon from a boy with violent seizures. His father says to Jesus, "If you can do anything, take pity on us." "If you can." Jesus, "What do you mean, if you can? Everything is possible to one who believes." The father says one of the most honest lines in all of Scripture. "I believe. Help my unbelief." Jesus heals the boy. The disciples ask why they couldn't do it. Jesus says, "This kind comes out only by prayer." He is not just healing, he is teaching them what kind of access they will need for what is coming. Miracle 26. Samaria. 10 lepers call out from a distance, "Jesus, Master, have pity on us." He tells them to go show themselves to the priests, the prescribed action for declaring a leper clean. They go. On the way, they are healed. One of them turns back, falls at Jesus' feet, thanks him. He is a Samaritan. 10 healed, 1 grateful, and it was the one the Jews would least have expected. Miracle 27. Jerusalem. The disciples ask, "Who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" Jesus, "Neither. This happened so that the work of God might be displayed in him." He makes mud, puts it on the man's eyes, tells him to wash. The man comes back seeing. The Pharisees interrogate him, throw him out. Jesus finds him afterward, asks, "Do you believe in the Son of Man?" "Who is he, Lord? Tell me so I can believe." "You are looking at him." "Lord, I believe." And he worships him. The religious system threw him out for seeing. Jesus came looking for him after. The one they expelled became the one who met God. Miracle 28. A woman bent double for 18 years, unable to straighten. Jesus calls her over, touches her. "Woman, you are set free from your infirmity." She straightens up and praises God. He calls her a daughter of Abraham. He named her lineage while she was still stooped. He called her free before she was fully standing. Miracle 29. A Sabbath meal with Pharisees. A man with dropsy, painful fluid accumulation. Jesus asks them, "Is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath or not?" Silence. He heals the man and asks, "Which of you has a son or ox fall into a well and does not immediately pull him out on a Sabbath?" More silence. By now, the Sabbath confrontations are escalating every time. He keeps doing it, deliberately, in front of them. He is not trying to avoid conflict. He is making the argument visible. Miracle 30. Bethany. This is the pivot point of John's Gospel. Lazarus is sick. His sisters send word to Jesus. He delays 2 days. By the time he arrives, Lazarus has been in the tomb for 4 days. The Jewish belief was that the spirit lingered near the body for 3 days. 4 days was unambiguously, completely, irreversibly dead. Martha comes out. "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." Jesus says, "I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live, even though they die. Do you believe this?" He stands at the tomb, commands them to take away the stone. He looks up, prays. Then in a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out." Lazarus comes out, still wrapped in burial cloths. Unwrap him. Let him go. But before all that, between the stone and the prayer, 2 words in the text. In English, Jesus wept. He already knows what he is about to do. He knows in 30 seconds Lazarus will walk out. He weeps anyway. Because grief is real even when you know the ending. The raising of Lazarus is the miracle that makes the authorities decide Jesus must die. John 11:53. From that day on, they plotted to take his life. The miracle that most clearly proves who he is becomes the one that seals his execution. Miracle 31. Jericho. Blind Bartimaeus sits by the road, begging. He hears Jesus is passing by. He shouts, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." People tell him to be quiet. He shouts louder. Jesus stops. "Call him." Bartimaeus throws off his cloak, his only possession, his only security, jumps to his feet, goes to Jesus. "What do you want me to do for you?" "Rabbi, I want to see." "Go, your faith has healed you." Immediately he receives his sight, and he followed Jesus along the road to Jerusalem, the road to the cross. He threw off everything he had to get to Jesus and then walked straight into that with him. Miracle 32. The arrest in Gethsemane. Peter draws a sword and cuts off the ear of Malchus, the high priest's servant. Jesus says, "No more of this." Touches the ear, heals it. He heals the man who came to arrest him. While being taken, while the disciples scatter, he stops to heal the enemy. The miracles do not end at the cross. After the resurrection, 7 disciples have gone back to fishing. All night, nothing. A man on the shore calls out, "Friends, haven't you any fish?" "No." "Throw your net on the right side of the boat." They throw it, cannot haul the net in for the fish. John says to Peter, "It is the Lord." Peter throws himself into the water and swims to shore. 153 fish. The net does not break. And there on the beach is a charcoal fire, fish on it, bread beside it. Jesus says, "Come and have breakfast." Peter denied Jesus 3 times around a charcoal fire. He is now standing next to a charcoal fire while Jesus asks him 3 times, "Simon, do you love me?" The same details, a different ending, not erased, reversed, healed. The resurrection is not a resuscitation. Lazarus was resuscitated, brought back to the same life, to die again. This is something different, a body that has passed through death and come out the other side into something the universe had never seen. Paul calls Jesus the aparche, the first fruits. In the Jewish harvest calendar, first fruits were the first portion of the crop brought to the temple as a promise and a guarantee. Not the whole harvest yet, but proof that the harvest is coming. Jesus risen is not the end of the story. He is the proof that there is more. We started with a wedding in Cana. 6 empty jars. We end with a breakfast on a beach. 153 fish. A net that did not break. 37 miracles. 1 pattern. He moved toward the person the world had moved away from. He restored what was broken, and he did it at personal cost, every single time, until the cost was everything. He has never once turned away from someone who came to him. Not once. Not in any of the 37. That pattern does not break. If this opened something in the Gospels you have never seen before, share it with someone who loves the Bible and has never read the miracles in order. Subscribe. We are working through every major thread in Scripture with this kind of depth, and you do not want to miss what comes next.